Hearts of Kyber, high in fiber, thermal exhaust port to your colon.
The strongest stars have hearts of kyber.
What's that I spy, my little eye? What's that I spy, my little eye? Andor, Cassian Andor, talk about Andor, Cassian Andor. He's a rebel spy, super bad friend. Give you a hug at the very end. Make that man feel like 100. He's the rogue one for me. Hit you ass up, he's not in the show. Is he a fish or a thief? He's Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor, Cassian Andor.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Hearts of Kyber.
Yeah. Yesterday I played that part and I accidentally skipped it. I hit the button too soon. I was like, oh man, that was the punchline. So
I love that one. Like,
I made sure to do it.
I love
Donnie
that.
Yen. It's so earnest the way he delivers those lines.
Yeah.
Ernest P. Willer. And do what Sanish says, like our dumb show. Follow our dumb show. You can listen to our dumb show on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple, all that jazz. It's on all of the platforms. On Spotify, you could listen and watch. And on here, on YouTube, you could watch. And what else? That's pretty much it. Just like it and all that stuff. You could give me super chats and all your money if you want to. I'll use it and spend it on horrible stuff. That's cool.
Bespin's like, no, you give it to me. Hey, speaking
Chris
of money,
Breezy is like,
speaking
no,
of money,
don't do it.
speaking of money, gosh, yesterday, Jason, I gotta tell you, I turned on the hot mic, and I logged into the hot mic because Spreezy came on the show yesterday and he said that he put down like $100 in super chats
102.
and enraged Bespin to no end, right? Because he's got rightfully, hey, Bespin's got bills to pay. I get it, okay? Especially
I got
bandwidth bills.
I got kids.
Huh? Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, and I logged in and I could see all of Spreezy's stuff at the very top. Like he preloaded before the show.
Wait, it was
turned
there?
on.
It was
It was
there?
at the very top when it started. I'm like, oh, he got in quick. He got in before they started the show.
Yeah.
And so Roka starts off the show and he goes, we got a lot of things we're gonna get through on the super chats today. And he must have seen all of it, right? And then they go through the show and he's never reading any of Spreezy's stuff. Never. For like an hour in. And then Roka goes, Spreezy, I see what you're saying. I don't see any of your super chats though.
No. And then so Spreezy's like, what do I do? I was like, I think you should send him an email and say, hey man, I kind of dropped $102 and you didn't answer anything or even blow me off like on the questions. And so Spreezy sends him a nice email and he writes him back and he's all, I told you to send the questions again, but you didn't do. We when we watched it, he never says that. He goes like, yeah, and he like kind of goes past what Spreezy said.
No, he did say send me
Really?
the ones that I missed. Yeah, he did say
Oh.
send me the ones that I missed. No,
I missed
heard
that too when I listened. I heard him say he said like he said something kind of nonsensical on the when we saw. But anyways, but Spreezy got in touch with him and he's supposed to answer Spreezy's questions next week. So
He has so many though, man. Like it's a little too much stuff at once.
Hey.
You gotta know this because I feel like you ask that many questions.
send
they're
me
gonna
$102 and I will answer all of your questions with I don't know at least. Promise. Fucking promise.
I have questions, Jason, but it's just gonna enrage our audience if I bring them up. So let's move on. What do we got to talk about today? What do we got?
Don't put it in the brown hole. Put it in the pink hole.
Hey! Before I forget, like the fucking show or don't.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah.
No,
Like the
definitely,
show
please
or
like.
don't.
It helps. It helps.
All right. Oh yeah.
It doesn't cost nothing to hit the like button. Come on.
I mean, it'll cost you your soul. Think about it.
We're the Mortal Kombat generation. Your soul is mine. Right? Hold up the head.
I'll Sub-Zero the shit out of that line.
Anytime you cats out there fucking complain about a Marvel film, dude, just remember, Mortal Kombat was the highlight for years. That's all we
I
had,
didn't-
man.
I mean, for him, I just said I'm not going, and I just didn't go.
I love Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat came out at puberty, so like my friend would like want to play it, and I'd just be like, dude, this is so not working towards our goal of boobs, you know?
The game. No, I'm talking about the movie. The
Mhm.
game I wasn't into. But
Yeah,
the movie,
and by the
I
time the
enjoyed.
movie came out, it was like downtown booby town. But anyways, here we are. Speaking of Naboobies, we got a story today, a little bit of a scoop.
I never
And
thought
listen-
about that before. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
why.
Yeah, in my fan fiction, Anakin's like, I don't like sand, but I like Naboobies, and she's like, you're so romantic, Anakin. All right, so MSW exclusive.
Like sound like Veracusa, dude. So romantic.
Naboo's back. Hever Castle filming.
Ooh,
Yeah. Oh,
we're going back to Naboo.
Here's a question I have: Is a castle a palace? Is a palace a castle? I
Is
wasn't
a
sure.
pal-
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
No, it
'cause
isn't.
I
Because
used palace.
a castle can be some like rotting mortar, like in Highlander when Ramirez is fighting Kurgan,
It could just
right?
be like a fucking war outpost, basically.
Yeah, but a palace is like that's much bigger.
Yeah, it occurred to me as I was in this, and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I wrote palace, and I still have palace in here, even though I tried to take it out. So I'll fix it later. Anyways, the facts. Sources have told MakingStarWars.net, that's me, that Lucasfilm is planning a shoot at Hever Castle, Kent. The palace, or I should say the castle, is about 30 miles from London, and the shoot will take place this summer 2023. The shoot's duration is unknown, but should feature a lot of background performers. We are not 100% sure this is for Andor, but other stories in the works would seem to indicate it is. Hint, hint, bestbinbulletin.com, probably next week. The legacy. Star Wars historians will know the palace as it was used for filming on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, back in 1997.
That's
Stars Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, and Ahmed Best, the bestest, filmed a sequence where the Jedi exit the bongo and go into Theed Palace, aka the cut waterfall sequence. The location was primarily used for the beautiful fountain originally.
Well,
and
they restored it. They restored it.
And to film the destruction of a battle droid. And I have a link to that right there, which links T-Bone Star Wars Universe, and I remember that, but I couldn't find the actual link at T-Bone's thing to it. I don't know if this one goes over to the T-Bone link, because T-Bone was hosted somewhere else back then, so I couldn't find it on T-Bone's site. But T-Bone Star Wars Universe originally had that back in '97.
I remember T-Bones.
Citing my 97 brethren, I think it's only fair. The question still remains if this filming is a new location in the Star Wars universe or an actual return to Naboo. Remember back in 2016 when The Last Jedi was filming the Canto Bight sequences in Dubrovnik, Croatia? Everyone online constantly speculated that it was Naboo, and it wasn't. So there's a cautionary tale here.
Remember when it was supposed to be Han Solo's funeral?
Oh yeah. That wasn't
Remember
me.
that?
That wasn't my fault. Yeah, but that was a rumor that went around, and it was a good speculation though. Like that would have been neat, right?
Yeah, but no, we didn't do it.
Yeah, no. And
People were like,
and
"Fuck
you
it."
know, he's a cowboy. He wouldn't get a palace, or a that kind of thing. Anyways, right here I got a photo of the cutscene right here where they're basically like, Jar Jar, get the fuck on the land, you idiot, and like you're like, oh no, Jar Jar's gonna go over the waterfall. But then Jar Jar just like swims effortlessly through the water. And so I think that's why it's cut. But what's also weird is when you watch the cut sequence, as it was restored in the film, they really show the fountain for like a good 10 seconds. Like they just wanted to film the fountain. Circumstance. There has been a lot of recent reports that Star Wars Andor will film in Valencia, Spain this year. This is circumstantial evidence, but there is a chance, depending on where they are shooting in Spain, that this is also Naboo or the same planet with beautiful architecture. Star Wars has so many worlds it could be, but Naboo would be the most known that share a similar look and feel. Okay, so here we go to a little bit of recent news that connects to it, possibly. I believe it does personally, but that's just my gut, my big old fat tummy. Another piece of evidence comes from my half sister, Bespin Bolton. Yes, I wrote that. who had some spy shots from Pinewood Studios, which also seem compatible with this style of architecture as well. When he first showed those to me, we both commented how Naboo like it was. But with a franchise that constantly has us asking why Jakku wasn't just Tatooine, it leaves us speculating. And as you can see over on the left side of Andor, you can really tell like that looks like fucking Naboo. You know, it really has that kind of feeling to it. The only thing going against it for me is that little like archway that's like that Tatooine style thing. But you know, this is the fabricated side, so it could be just Star Wars'd up. So this might not be Naboo. Why would Andor go to Naboo? To assassinate Emperor Palpatine? Luthen's homeworld? While unlikely, this could be for the new Damon Lindelof picture that could be filming by this summer. Could Acolyte take place on Naboo to show some early workings of the Palpatine family? There are so many possibilities. There is always a small chance Willow's second season is there as well. However, sources have explicitly said it was Star Wars, and I believe this is for Andor personally. And then I say, the facts, as I know them, is that Hever Castle will have Star Wars filming there this summer. I'm betting it's for Andor, and I think it could be for Naboo, but I don't really know at the moment. And note, as of the writing of this article, even more evidence is coming to light as we dig that this will be a large sequence in Andor's second season. And
anytime you say that, I think of Lebowski. New evidence has come to light, dude.
Right. It's come to light.
It's come to light.
And right here, this is what they filmed right here from that cutscene from the Phantom Menace.
The restored scene in the Phantom Menace. Remember the DVD?
Then, yeah. This is from the DVD.
We were all really afraid they were going to go over a waterfall. Like
these effects weren't initially finished, is what happened. And when they decided to include them, they realized that they couldn't really release cutscenes during the DVD era without restoring them. And then Lucas was like, "Oh well, I'm already spending money to finish the effects. I might as well enhance them." So, you know, they are what they are. But right here, you can see the bongos about to go over the side of the waterfall. Qui-Gon shoots the cable, and then that's probably from Leavesden Studio right there. That shot, and then this is all obviously CGI shit or whatever. Didn't they use? What did they use? Rice for the waterfalls? I can't remember now. I think I remember them using rice and sugar.
Uncle Ben's.
Well,
you know, Kenobi.
Uncle Ben Kenobi's. Yeah, and then so right here, you know, the Jedi go, and then
that does not composite well.
No, I mean this. Well, no. Here's what's important to also to remember is that because this was just for the DVD release, the effects were only done in 480p.
Right.
So that's why they weren't really jumping to do anything else with them. So they're even
I'm not complaining. It's just that one shot was the one that didn't stand out to me even 20 years ago.
Yeah. And then, you know, Jar Jar's stupid and he just chills there for a while. And then but right here, see, it's ultimately, I think a good reason that it's cut is he just jumps in the water and he swims fine. So it's he falls in the water and swims, you know, just fine. So he wasn't really even in danger. So it's kind of yeah, so what? Once the humans are on land, you know, but anyways.
I like how they're out there for 20 minutes and not one battle droid notices them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in the wide open. All right. Okay.
It's true. I think I sent Azatru the link, so maybe Azatru will show up. But if you see Azatru show up and I don't say anything, let me know. Oh, there he is. There he is. I started to get afraid that I didn't hear the beep. I was like, I need to go back to the interface and see if you're there.
No, I just had to do something, but yeah. That's
How's it going?
I love Naboo.
We're here for the dismemberment, right? That's what we.
I don't care, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of. I'm gonna get hate for this, but just so many people. It's all people care about, and it's
dismemberment.
I know they want people to be chopped up into little pieces and see everything.
You're realizing as it's true how crazy this fan base is, right? right? You don't get this from the Smurfs fan base. Can we dismember the Smurfs? Like, oh my god, can we dismember? You know, like you don't get it. But in Star Wars,
I saw earlier that there was like, oh, they finally figured out the technology to do it, even though we had the technology years ago. And I'm like, oh, you can't like that. You can't be serious. Like, no,
it's in Jedi Knight 3.
Yeah, but like they seem to think that they've not been able to achieve it. It's like, no, they decided not to do it, and they're already complaining it's only like as an execution on certain characters in certain moments. It's not full, and I'm like, oh, I've had enough already.
Rick says, "Hey, remember when I sent you a bunch of Dubrovnik pics? I do, and thank you, Rick. Much appreciated, man."
What they really want us to be able to put the stormtroopers in a freezer and then eat them later on. Like we need that DLC. Yeah.
Dell's all, I love Naboo. I love democracy.
Hey, why you gotta bring up painful memories?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it's like, you know, there's a ton of other worlds that could be as well. Like that's the whole thing. But when they've already filmed Naboo at that location, that's where I feel like it's a little okay to like throw in on it being Naboo this time. And then without stepping on his toes, me and Bestman have been talking about this stuff, and I think Bestman has a fun follow-up to this that will maybe even reinforce it. Maybe. Not saying I'm saying he's backing it up, but I think he's going to back it up. I think it's going to get backed up by Bestman next week. And in his own way, in his own Bestman way, he'll do it.
Well, if he does, then Spreezy will reward him with the Kofi.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Spreezy and Bestman, they're on the outs now. Spreezy money is ours. Spreezy money, that's what we're calling him now. But no, it was really cool though of Spreezy to go and super chat them and support the online communities and try to bring some info
100%.
out of the
I just was wondering if he was sweating the whole time. Like, what did he do?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think he might have been sleeping at that point.
No, he was watching.
You think he's watching?
Oh yeah, because Roke had replied to him during the show, so he was watching.
Well, yeah, like 40 minutes in though, right?
So yeah, but he didn't just turn on; he had to be watching the whole time.
We were like, it was like nervous laughter as I was watching that unfold. Like, oh man, he a lot, and it's not happening. You know what I mean? And I know Spreezy. He's like, man, come on, man. So it's pretty funny though. But luckily, I mean, I'm glad he emailed them. They talked. Next week they'll answer his questions. But if they forget, oh man, I'm gonna laugh a lot. If they forget, it's going to be pretty funny. I'm going to tell Spreezy that I'm going to be like, hey man, I think it's up to you to remind them so that way they don't forget. You know,
right?
But let's really quickly look at there's a little TV spot that hit too today. I accidentally closed it, but here we go. Another TV spot. This time on Twatter. Come on, load up, you son of a bitch. There we go. All right, here we go. There's a couple of new moments in this right here. Let's look at it.
All right, kid, you ready for an adventure?
On March 1st, the global phenomenon returns.
May the Force be with you!
The Mandalorian Season 3 streaming March 1st.
There's some new stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the flying stuff is new at all. Some of it feels new, but also
that shot might. Yeah, it's like the same sequence, but different.
A little like look, you can see that the ship gets hit right here. So it's Mando shooting. Oh wait, is that Mando? That's not Mando, right? No, that's like that new ship, and that's getting blown up by Mando. And then more of the Mandos dropping in on Navarro. This right here is a new shot of this one falling down.
Oh yeah,
landing. Pretty good shot though, because it's like they clearly like jumped off of something, you know. So
Right.
it looks cool though because it's like very believable. The global phenomenon.
All right. Okay.
There.
Remember?
And then,
Remember?
nope.
I like that.
Nope.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like
That's a new color.
is that like salmon or something? Like and then reflecting like blue? I can't tell like what color it really is.
It's teal.
Is it actually teal or is that the reflection though? Yeah, it looks
Well,
cool.
the reflection's blue is like a cerulean or cyan blue, but there's the yellow's creating that like green bounce, right? So
Okay.
but it's cool.
Yeah. Yes. And then right here we saw this one yesterday, and that
Some
in the
people are
back
saying
there.
that's Boba in the back, but I don't think he's
No.
in the show. I don't think he's in it.
That's what I keep saying is I don't have any evidence for Boba in the show, and I'm gonna throw it out there. Would you put Boba Fett in the back?
No.
They'd have shown him by now. Like, it's not some secret. They've shown
Yeah.
all the major characters but Moff Gideon, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, they've shown Bo everywhere. They're showing the others. Like, he's had his own show. Like, he's not a secret.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's the Mandalorian. He's Boba Fett. Like, they should be showing him. So a lot of people seem to think he's in it. And I'm like, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. I don't think he's in it. If anything, it's going to be they'll go to Tatooine. He'll be like, I'm rolling with respect. Sorry, I'll be back. One day, and then that's it.
There'll be a lot of disappointed Star Wars fans is the quote of the year. You know, like why is it? It's crazy as most of these people hated Boba Fett the series, but now they're all classic contrarian. Now they're like, it's great. Sure. You know, same people complained 6 months ago are now telling you it was the best thing ever. And this thing will suck. Like I know it's a weird game they play.
Well, I understand it though. Like Boba Fett season 1. Do I want more Boba Fett season 1? I don't. But I want Boba Fett season 2 because it's an opportunity for change and an opportunity to realize the concept in a better way.
I want Mando season 3. Like that shit's 2 weeks from now. Like these people out there looking for something that
12 days. 12 days. 12 days of Christmas is what Santa
finally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way, one of the new Lego minifigs from this Mandalorian season 3. It's just called Death Watch, and it's basically it's a different Mandalorian. It's different to all the others. So that's I believe it's in the Mandalorian and Pirates set. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's probably just a generic character, but yeah.
I'll show it on the screen right now. Bestman showed me this earlier today, and I don't know who originally put it on the internet, so I don't mean to be a jerk. I just don't know who you are in this instance. And but thank you for putting it on the internet. I do appreciate it. Person who did. You know what I mean? But yeah, is this what you're talking about? This one?
Yeah,
we
cute.
We were looking at it, like speculating like who it can be, and you said it was just supposed to be just a generic Death Watch.
Well, that's what people are saying because you'd be able to tell like if it was someone specific. Like we've already had Bo, Gar, and then one of the other. It's like a different Death Watch character because it was inspired by the Clone Wars season 7 with the Mandalorian Starfighter, and then this is like an actual season 3 because it's got that pirate, like the pirate ship, whoever that's going to be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's got a little human face under there. Do they always have faces? Lego minifigs? I can't remember.
I think they've changed it because every Mandalorian except for the most recent one was just a black head. Now they do a Din head. The battle pack that they released with all the designs that are in season 3, the ones from Navarro, I've got that, and that's just black heads. I think maybe the Death Watch from season 7 of the Clone Wars in the recent one that had a face, but I can't remember.
Okay.
So yeah, it is interesting. Usually they are black, so
yeah. I mean, it's nice to actually. Mark, are you saying copyright alert for a reason? Did they take the stream down or something weird, or are you just saying like be careful?
Oh,
Yeah.
probably because Lego are a bit like.
Oh, Lego. Yeah, Lego could suck it.
Yeah.
I know. I've had them over the years send me stuff. It's like, yeah, cool. Have everybody get it, not excited for your stuff, and then when it comes out, watch it just sit on the shelf. Not that they don't sell, but it's just like, what are you thinking on enforcing that? I understand like Lucasfilm wanting to enforce it. Maybe you're like, don't show that, please. Don't talk about Maz Kanata's castle. But like, it's like you got a product here. You want people seeing your shit. You should be like, oh no, don't. If I were them, that's how I'd be.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like most of the leaks happen on Instagram, and Instagram is like where Lego just take everything down. Like they don't do it. It's crazy. Like they really don't like people stealing from the factories. It's like the Skywalker saga, Blue Milk Luke. Like they were stolen from the factory 2 years before the game came out, and it was like really still angry. And I like bought one just so I could make a video. And then sold it for the price I paid for it.
Yeah.
So and now they're like so cheap. People that kept them in the bags thinking they could sell them on, they're not worth anything. So.
Yeah, I got the First Order Stormtrooper. Somebody's like, "Hey, I got one. I love the site. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Yep." And then they like sent it to me. Like I just had it. I like covered it on the site, and then I'm like, and then they were gonna give one out at Comic-Con that year. It's like from Hasbro was gonna like have it or whatever as like a thing, and then so somebody like wanted to see it one time, and then it was like my buddy will give you $250 for it right now. I was like, okay, sure, I'll take $250 for it right now, and then now you could probably find those anywhere, I would imagine, but that's enthusiasm and it counts for a lot, and people like Lego should understand that, you would think, but whatever. It's those. So what's been going on with the old game stuff?
Honestly, a lot. Like it's quite surprising. They've just given IGN a whole month to like just blast everything. Like there is just so much, like far more than the first game.
Yeah.
So yesterday they gave us another gameplay video that detailed the 5 stances, mostly the first 3 that you begin the game with like a bunch of new like combat arena like footage just to show off the animations and the differences between the stances. And then today they've revealed like 5 more minutes of one of the tombs. So, but what I like is that was one of the issues with the first game. A lot of it was puzzle based. Well, they've basically moved those to be like side missions. So that there's still going to be a couple puzzles in the main story, but like these tombs are going to be, you don't have to do them for the story. You can go get extra stuff. And they showed like them going through this Jedi meditation chamber, it's called, on Kobo, the main planet. And it just looks like kind of like Breath of the Wild puzzle. You don't need a lightsaber. There's no enemies in there. You just move in like a invisible, like Indiana Jones Last Crusade, the invisible bridge. Like,
right.
You've got to like do something to activate like a bridge.
Space
kind of like that.
Jehovah.
Yeah.
In Greek. Or you fall.
And just stuff like with floating balls again, like in the first game, but it's a little bit different. So, yeah, the temple looks cool. It's all like Jedi stuff, and there's going to be like this says lore challenges that you complete. You'll be able to sense like previous Jedi masters or whatever who failed doing them and stuff like that. So, overall, like they're showing not too much, but more than the first game. But they're sticking to this one planet. They're really trying to like keep it to this one planet and not show anything else, because I think it's going to be Coruscant. That's like the big planet that they're trying to keep away for saving for the game.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But yeah, the gameplay looks pretty good. Dismemberment in some way to an extent.
And that's the advantage to being able to use the battle droids, I would imagine.
Well, no, this was on battle droids we've seen have all keep coming apart, but this dismemberment was actually the legs of scout troopers.
Oh, okay.
So it's
so they're not pulling that.
Yeah, it's literally just like the bottom off the legs. You can see like 2 of them without legs. So it's very specific because the Bedlam Raiders, the main enemies, we haven't seen them come apart in any way. But the scout troopers, that happens to them now. So it's very specific, but it is there to an extent. But I'm
So
more
if
interested in,
Cal
like, this...
survives the Civil War, the Galactic Civil War, and he goes on to become a Jedi, and officially and all that stuff. I do want the scene with this legless scout trooper with the cup asking for some change, and he's like, "That's the least I can do."
Yeah, it seems like he's just doing his own thing. Like, he's sort of broken off from what a Jedi is. Like, how that's the issue with Sia. Like, she's gone back to being like, "Oh, I'm a Jedi Master now, and I'm gonna do it the old school way." And he's like, "Well, we can't do that." So he's running around with a blaster and killing, like, this. There's this group on a planet, and he's just like going around killing them. But we don't know who they are, other than they just exist in this village. They've got Genrai, whatever they're called. They've got
I'm thinking it's Gendai, like Gendy Tartakovsky. I'm thinking it's an homage to Gendy, so I think it's Gendai.
So, like, there's that guy who's there. You've got they've not said anything else about the potential High Republic guy that is in the back tank. But I did see in this new gameplay, what's the most interesting part for me is that the gameplay starts with Cal with that device that we see the High Republic guy with, and that Cal uses to look at, like, scan the back tank, and he like scans for the chamber. So I'd imagine that's like the device that you go around using to scan to open, like, locations. But then
that High Republic looking, kind of communicator-ish looking thing.
In the start of the gameplay, like, Cal holds it up to this Jedi chamber, and it like illuminates like green lines everywhere, and it's like, oh, this is the entrance to go. This is an entrance to the Jedi chamber. So I'd imagine that's Cal using this to go around places, and then they take it off him.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. How are you feeling about the game right now? Are you feeling like it's going to be as good as the first game? Like the enthusiasm level for me is like a big mixed bag, because it's like I've already played that game to some extent, and they keep showing, like, the gameplay footage that they showed was like fascinating, but also kind of like, okay,
it's more of the same, which I think is I've seen some people be critical of that, but I'm like, that's what people liked about the first game. So if they change too much, like they've said, they didn't want to change what was fine. They just wanted
if
to
it ain't
evolve.
broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. That's literally what they said in one of the interviews. So for me, people are like, it looks the same. Well, I mean, if they've just added more stuff, like they've addressed the main concerns. There's fast travel. There's now going to be less puzzles in the main story. It's going to be left for side quests. Cosmetics are going to be quite substantial. They're not just ponchos. There's now going to be 3 skill trees. So they've announced that yesterday. So there's the stance skill tree for the 5 different stances for lightsaber combat. There's the Force skill tree, just like the first game. And then there's survivability. So that's going to be your health and, like, your equipment and stuff like that.
Which we needed when we were fighting Darth Vader last game. Come on.
Yeah. So now they've tripled the amount of, like, so that's where people were, like myself, oh, well, you've got all these force powers, but don't want to lose them. Well, you start with them all. They've just added 2 more skill trees in different ways. There's also, in today's gameplay, there's data discs, something else to tell, like, more lore. They basically added more stuff of what people wanted, which is good, and also made the things that people didn't like better. So, I don't see, at the moment, we've only seen such a small amount, but they've showed us way more than the first game, which is good. It overall just looks better. Like, the worlds feel more lived in, like, because of the new hardware. But yeah,
so I heard something that I was going to ask you about, and I didn't see it. I think it might have been Bespin who pointed it out to me. Like, when you hit those, like, loading kind of areas, like loading, like places where it kind of like would chug, and then you would, like, kind of like load up. They said, like, that wasn't supposed to happen. That's why they were going over to, like, the next gen. But then when they were showing that demo the other day, it happened. Do you think that will not be a concern once the game hits?
Well, I'd imagine that's like that. It seems like there was a shot where Cal went through, like, a gap, and they used those gaps where he climbs through things as loading points in the first game. But this one was really quick. So I think because it's on the new hardware, the storage device, they've got rid of a lot of the issues with the first game technically, which is good. And I've seen people complain it's only on next gen. I'm like, well, it's going to be a better game for it. And if you can't play it now, when you inevitably do end up playing it, it's going to be a far better game. The drawbacks of the first game, it seems like they've gotten rid of. So
well, and it's like you said
totally
last
better.
time we were talking about this. Like next gen is actually this gen now. It's been 2 years.
It's been 2.5. Like the game's been delayed. Like it was supposed to come out in like November originally internally, and then it's March and now April. So it's been plenty of time. I can understand people's frustrations, but I wouldn't want a worse game. Like, people were saying sales, right? It's not going to sell as well as Fallen Order. That's just a fact because Fallen Order had such a big install base to go through, right? And it was also a game that people had been longing for a long time, but it didn't review as highly as like how I think Star Wars fans perceive it. Whereas with this game, I think it'll probably review higher, but sell less because it's got a lot less.
Well, maybe at first. I mean,
yeah, it's going to
talk
have
about
long
lifetime sales here, you know. So
Jedi Fallen Order did really well in the past year. Like more people have bought the game this year than they did last year, and more than the year before. So like it just keeps going because people are found the game for the first time or they're excited for this new game. But I just tweeted earlier. Someone found Jedi Survivor's trailer numbers are almost identical to Mandalorian Season 3. It's on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Both the first and second trailer are like the same, or like 6.57 million each, both. So that's Mandalorian Season 3. Like, people seem to think Mandalorian's like as big as the films. Well, this game is doing the same numbers on YouTube.
Well, and that's what
trailer.
You and I had that conversation one time where we're like, Cal jumping to live action is a demotion for him in actuality because more people played the game than watched the show. And the shows aren't that big actually in comparison to that games. Like how many copies was it? Was it like 30 million?
It's definitely sold over I think it's about sold 20, but it's got over 30 million players because they took into account Game Pass, which where loads of people came in. But they haven't released numbers for like 2.5 years, something like that, in terms of sales. Like this, EA tend to like when a game's been out for like so many months, they'll announce the sales and then don't talk about them again. But we know when they did the next gen re-release, that's when they said, oh yeah, 30 million because it's been in Game Pass. So it definitely bumped up. I would have thought like even it's weird because Battlefront is the best-selling Star Wars game of all time. Yet they never made a song and dance about it. And it got a Guinness World Record. Like, it's in DICE's office. I've seen it. And yet, there's no record of it online. It's really strange. And it's like 25 million copies. And this was like in 2016 when it reached that. And I'm like, that is that's pretty much most of the top 10 games below it combined. Like, that's how big that game was. And then it's like Battlefront 2, and then it's Jedi Fallen Order.
But they had to pay a licensing fee. So it didn't make as much money as Battlefront. I mean,
Battlefront. I wonder if it was because Battlefront 2 was on the way.
Possibly, because I got told about the Guinness World Record like months before I saw it. It's when I first went to play Battlefront for the first time, and I was like, oh, that's finally cool to actually see it like in person. I was like, I searched online, can't find any record of it, but they have the certificate. It's like 25 point something million copies, 2016. I'm like, oh, so it definitely sold a lot. But also a lot of the like sales records for Star Wars games are so weird. Like they always do lists for like May 4th, like websites do, but they only use the American sales. So that's like also they say all time. Well, it's North America only, and it doesn't take into account Europe. So it always says like, oh, such like so some games are like much higher than they are when in reality, So but yeah, so Fallen Order huge, Jedi Survivor doing huge. Like I've seen people say like it's just the same game, but like the trailers are doing as good as Mandalorian. So.
That's good. Yeah, that's
PS5,
like
Xbox Series only. It's not going to be a problem. Like it's going to be just fine.
Yeah. Like one of the things about the first game that I like is like you can go back and like I said, you can watch on YouTube like almost like film edits of it where people have taken like the gameplay and taken out all the puzzle stuff and the wandering around trying to find outfits and just like the story. Like you can watch it like it's a film. And so that's what I'm kind of most excited about from my perspective, is like kind of getting like my game Star Wars film in, to being able to like play it. And this is like, in a weird way, probably the biggest High Republic thing to have happened yet.
Yeah,
think that's
I
being
kind of hope it is,
overlooked.
because I don't just want him some random guy. Like, it seems like he is that, like, he's been in the back tank. Like, it's got some really interesting stuff. It's stuff like this that I don't think would ever make its way into like a show, because it's quite obscure. Like, they're doing stuff. They make references to things that like only a lot of Star Wars fans, like certain Star Wars fans, would know. But it's also such a mass game that it goes over people's heads that just regularly play it, because they don't care about this stuff. But it is interesting. It's like people didn't know about the Inquisitors when they played the game. They was like, oh, I didn't realize these were a thing. Like, I didn't watch Rebels, so
and now they're wishing they never found out. Like,
no, in the game they're fantastic.
They didn't fly away, so they didn't fly away on the helicopter lightsaber.
Yeah,
so that was good. A lot of people did want that though.
The penguin, the penguin umbrella.
I just want anybody who's watching the show that if you want helicopter lightsabers, fuck you, and fuck everything you like.
They worked in Visions.
It works well at the start of Fallen Order, because you didn't expect it, and then it's when Cal goes to swing his lightsaber the first time, and then Trilla, she's already stabbed his friend, and then the lightsaber comes out, and it's like, whoa, like that was a good introduction. Like, I feel that intro to the game is such a good intro to one of the best Star Wars game introductions I've played, because like it connected both like trilogies really well.
When I watched the gameplay like movie cut on YouTube a few weeks ago, it did strike me how well they shot the Inquisitors, though. After as much Inquisitor stuff as we've seen in Rebels and Kenobi, you see it in here, like, they did a really good job. Like,
and Fortress Inquisitorius as well. Like, it was such a great location that they came up with. But yeah, I feel like with this game, it seems like the cutscenes are like, because of the technology, they're more like actually you're in the game, like less transition based.
right.
So I don't know if people will enjoy that as much, but I feel like it's like you're in the game. You are Cal. They're going for that. But yeah, it looks great. And Mark brings up a good point. They've released it for PS Plus for free for the past month. It's on Game Pass still. They gave it away for free with Twitch Prime. So like there was a lot of people that have got the game for free and probably had no intention of paying like the $20 it costs now to buy it, and now they're like, oh, I really like this game. There's a new game coming out. I'll go get the new game. So they've done a really good job doing that.
Mark says Mando game, please. But yeah, I think that's. I think
there's been leaks and rumors, but
he's got to stay on Disney Plus. It's not happening.
Got to stay on Disney.
He's got to stay there. It's what he was designed for. It's where he's staying. He's never leaving.
I mean, no. Realistically, if they were to do it, it would be a throwback story, but it wouldn't be a story going forward.
It's like how would it work? In like, some people just want to replay the episodes, but it's not the way to do it.
No.
Star Wars.
There was there has been rumors of a Mandalorian game, but there's been nothing for quite some time.
Yeah,
but it seems like it's happening, but they can't figure out how.
So you do think a Mando game is or has been in development before?
Like it's insane to me that there isn't. Like from some of the niche stuff they've been doing. Like of course there's been a Mandalorian game thought about and looked at, but the rumor was that it was like at Bethesda, but that was like 2 years ago now, and there hasn't been anything concrete since. Like a couple of like the Xbox leakers I keep in touch with, they've got a pretty track record. Only one of them was like heard it might be like it was a single player game, but then it wasn't, but this was like last year and there was nothing substantial. So at this moment, it's just like there's been conversations probably, and I'd imagine Lucasfilm wants something. Like
John has to make the game. John doesn't have enough time. He doesn't have time to make the game.
Rob, there's a big difference between making your dumb Mando movie.
No, there isn't. It's his baby. He's got to make. He has to do everything himself. So.
Well, yeah, he makes movies too. He doesn't make video games.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't have the time. That's what I'm saying.
He doesn't have the time.
No,
he doesn't have the time. Oh, but boy, if that strike goes on, Hollywood's going to have some time. They're out there, but I don't want to talk about that today. But we're oh yeah, before I forget, I love this. Concerned citizen says Baba Booey pronounced Reese's Pieces the same as Star Wars Santa. Great bit worth looking up. Howard was relentless. And as he says that, I'm like, that does kind of sound familiar. How did he say it? Reese's Pieces?
Pieces. Yeah.
Pieces. Like his feces.
Like feces. That's why I said Reese's
Reese's
Pieces makes me feces.
Reese's Pieces.
I told my wife that joke and she wasn't happy. I was making fun of Santa. I think she's afraid she might get cold, but then I'm like, it'll be big on the black market. We can
These
resell
guys
it.
go on the Star Wars Santa show and disrespect him. How dare they? That's Santa Claus, motherfucker.
No, we invited Santa on our show and disrespected him. It's a little bit different.
When you invite Santa Claus into your house, he comes through that chimney. There is an expectation of safety and cookies and milk. You motherfuckers. Oh, sorry, gotta go. Fuck my sister. Be back.
You know, I think that's the Mark Hamill voice. I think you got it down. I've been working on it, but I think that's it.
Oh man, yeah, but
oh yeah, there was another excerpt of the book released, and I didn't read it all, but I just scrolled to the bottom.
What's it called again? It's like
Battle Scars.
Battle Scars.
Yeah. And
there's this Ozma song that goes, "I got battle scars on all my guitars," and I'm like, I've been cringing about that for like 20 years. Whenever I hear the name Battle Scars, I think of the Ozma song. It's kind of a good song, but it's a dumb line. Oh, sorry, go on.
So yeah, I scrolled to the bottom, and basically they talk. It's on about the fifth brother. He finds Seer and Cal, and they're like, "We can help you. We can bring back the Jedi Order. We can turn you to the light." And then it sort of just
we can
ends.
steal kids again and put them in a temple with other grown men, and no one has sex ever. Totally legit.
I read something about like a crack. I think his lightsaber like cracked or something like that. So it seems like in the book, like he's not fully on board with what he's doing for Vader and stuff like that. And it's not like he's just they came together. He's been hunting them, but I think the device that Cal's after, that it seems like the fifth brother's protect him or whatever, is this thing that he's it must be just like a generic object that Jedi object that's in a vault or something, and Cal's now using that to go around, doing his Indiana Jones stuff. So
I like to go back to what you were talking about earlier, that Seer is like, I'm a Jedi, I'm doing it by the old Jedi book. And then Cal's like, that don't make sense. And then he's kind of going off the rails is kind of what they're, in a way, it's what it sounds like. But they're both wrong. Because you can't be the old Jedi during the Empire. Like, there's just no way that's going to work. So it's kind of interesting, but it is kind of painting a picture that, to me, that they're going to come to some new conclusion by the end of the story, or they're fucked.
Jason, it all makes sense when you realize Cal's a sovereign citizen. He doesn't feel he has to pay imperial taxes. He can start his own makes his own coin, right? Sets up shop.
The problem is the Jedi tell on themselves, where's the Jedi? And he's like, actually, I'm a sovereign citizen. Your empire has no jurisdiction over my person.
That's right. That's right.
He's like, oh, okay.
Turns out Cal's first name is Ammon. But Ammon Cal Kestis. That's true.
But with that backdrop, what do we also have? We have a new friend who's I'm gonna guess is gonna be kind of a bad influence.
It says he's like
I'm not
a rebel.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy.
Yeah, it says he's a rogue. It specifically said he's a rogue that has been on a similar path to Cal. So maybe he is also a Jedi, but he's like, he was a former Jedi, but he's like completely cut himself off. Like, he's not going back. Like, he's never picking up a lightsaber again. But it seems like, or he might have not got a family either. So he feel like, it says him and Cal, they relate a lot. They team up because they've got a lot in common. And he's been making more bad mistakes. That's what it sounds like.
Are you betting he's a Force guy too, or are you betting against him being a Force guy?
I honestly don't know, because like he in game he's being used for like certain attacks, but like I don't know. Maybe
Like
maybe
our
it's a bit
Han
like
Solo surrogate to some extent in terms of having the
yeah,
blaster
or,
and all that.
or maybe something like along the lines of like how Finn felt like he was force sensitive, and he's like yeah he's got that feeling as well, something like that. But yeah, I mean it's in the name, Survivor. Like the whole thing is like they keep saying it's a much darker game. Like the first one's kind of like this like there is some dark elements, but it's kind of like a more happy adventure. Like it gets happier, whereas this one seems like no. Cal's like he knows like we can't bring back the Jedi. Like he's all about I'm just trying to survive. Like, and then we'll figure out like see out the Empire sort of thing.
Right.
Because he's on his like you know he saw, but like he's not going to be part of the rebellion. Like so.
No, he doesn't believe in the United Nations, so he's not joining that.
Well, Saw's probably the one who told him he was a sovereign citizen. So
the third game's gonna be called Jedi Secession.
Jedi Secession.
Yeah.
The Confederacy of Jedi.
It's coming back, dude.
The Star Wars story.
Yeah.
There. I had to have me and my son. We were eating dinner the night before last, and he's like mad that it got delayed. He's just realizing like, baby, I almost would have had it by now, kind of. And he's like getting mad because he's at 9. But he's like, we're like looking at because we got the big edition, you know, with all the stuff, the costumes. And I'm like, I had to break it to him. I'm like, look, man, when I play through the first time though, I can't play through when I'm playing as like Yavin Luke. I can't play as I can't do it on the first one. I gotta play as like the in-game
like,
character skins.
I'm
and then we
not
can
like
do whatever you want.
I'm not like a custom character guy. Like I like just going with like the default character. That's how I play like Red Dead. Like I was just like I'm playing as Arthur as so with a little bit of options. But yeah.
Just remind him how long Rob had to wait for Avatar 2. Like it's longer than he's been alive. Like
he will not have very much empathy for it. I couldn't get him to go see Avatar with us. He was like, "Nah."
Oh well.
He's uptight about it. Yeah.
Oh well.
Penny liked it, but then she was like, "This is too long. I'm a kid. I want to do something else now." And I was just like, "No." She went to sleep. But so we went and saw it again so she could see the second half. You know.
Did you show up around the second half? Like just skip the first and then time it?
No. I told her I'm not paying, $40 to go see half of a movie. And I was like, but you could take a nap at the beginning if you want or whatever. And when we were going, there wasn't going to be anybody there. So I was like, where we're sitting, if nobody ends up taking these seats, you could be on your phone for the first half of it if you want. But then, she watched it. I think she liked it. She was
Meanwhile, my brother couldn't get past one episode of Mando. We watched the original trilogy, and he hadn't watched those films for like a long time since he was quite young. But it's like, much better than I remember. Like, really enjoyed, especially Return of the Jedi, like myself.
Yeah, me too.
And it was like, okay, what's next? Then I'm like, okay, it's Mando, and it's like, fine. Everyone's saying how good it is. It's like, okay, so.
You're never gonna fucking like something when you start off with fine. Everyone says this is great. I'll fucking watch.
Well,
it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like
he wanted to know like what it was, but he was like, okay. He was like, I just want to get to 7, 8, and 9. Like that's his favorite 3 films. So I was like, look, trust me, it's. I was like, listen, the episode's on. They're less than an hour long, and there's like 7 or 8 episodes. Like we'll get them if we watch 3 in a day. Like we'll be done.
Jason.
Like, fine.
It's like watching Batman 89 and just like, I just want to get to Batman Forever. Can we just get on with it? I just want to get to when the action happens, right? I don't like slow moving parts. Yeah.
Nothing is as bad as Batman Forever.
That Batman and Robin's worse.
Well,
Batman Forever's way better than Batman.
If he was, it was that's like if Azatru was like, okay, brother, let's get to the Bad Batch now.
Look, I tried to give him like I had to speak for 5 minutes explaining the Clone Wars, right? Because I was like, this is what you're gonna need for like, connects to Revenge of the Sith and Mandalorian. Anyway, we watched the first episode of Mando, and it was like, is that it? Like,
That's
do
it.
Like, why? Why do people? I was like, just watch this. Look, through the second. Get to the. There's going to be cool stuff. I said, there's the dark side, there's the Mandalorians. It's going to be about the restoration of Mandalore. It's like, what's even Mandalore? Like, what even is that? I'm like, it's planet. It's like, oh, I thought it was a person. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, I don't even know. He's like, how can you have a black light? Yeah. And I was like, I was like, the dark saber. It's like, what's that? I was like, it's that thing I've got. It's like, you can't. How do you have a black lightsaber? Like, that's crazy. And I was like, okay. And he was like, no, I'm out. I'm gone. He's gone.
That's not a lightsaber. It's a dark saber.
So we got about 5 minutes into episode 2, chapter 2, and he was asleep. And he's like, yeah, I woke him up. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Like, we're watching 7, 8, and 9. He was like, specifically says, I want to see Hux, Kylo, Finn, and Rey now.
Hux,
and I want that.
Police Academy.
Yeah, he loves Hux. He's
Sweet Chuck's my man, but Hux is pretty good.
So when he's back like next week, we're watching 7, 8, and 9 back to back.
Yeah.
He was like, maybe I'll get round to watching Mando one day, but I want 7, 8, and 9 now. Because his whole thing was he wants to watch everything in order, and the order ended. So,
Sweet Chuck, it's my boy.
Yeah. Is your brother into the games too?
No. Like, he used to play like Battlefront with me when I was really young on the PS2, and he really liked Lego Star Wars as well. But like, he's not like much into games. Like, he plays FIFA, Formula 1, and that's basically, and like GTA. Like,
I told you, Jason, there's just people who buy game systems for Madden or football, like, or soccer or whatever, like FIFA or Madden. Like, they that's all they do. You know?
He checks out Battlefront to the recent one when episode 9 came out, because he was like, oh, because obviously he knows what I do and stuff, and it's like, yeah, it looks so, like, the graphics are amazing. Like, oh, you can play as Finn. I was like, yeah. It's like, oh, you can play as Kylo. It's like, yeah. So he downloaded it, and he played that for like non-stop for like a few days. He was just having fun, like offline, just like playing as Finn, Kylo, Finn, and Rey. And he loved it, and it was like, yeah, I had fun. But I want more content. I'm like, well, unfortunately, yeah, there isn't anymore. So it's I want Hux, I want Poe, I want all. I was like, yeah, you got. He's like, oh, BB-8 is cool, but I don't want to play as BB-8. So yeah, he loves 7, 8, and 9 mostly just because like he loves those characters. Like, he doesn't care about whatever's going on. So it's really interesting to have like someone have a completely different.
You should make him watch the Ewok movies. He think Mando's slow. Like,
he liked the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. He's like, yeah, this is the best. This is the best battle. It's so cool.
Okay. I'm gonna see. I don't know if this has a narration or not. But Santa is here, and he's saying how you say pieces, which is how you say pieces, depends on how you say Reese's. And we've always says Reese's. So that's why we say PCs. But it's not. It's Reese's.
I've only ever heard it Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, it's
in the movie.
Pieces.
Go watch fucking E.T., bro. Like, it's like that hard. Like
I probably watched E.T. when I was like 3.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Maybe they're gonna say it in this ad. I don't know. I'm hoping.
Santa's digging up ads now. Yeah, this is great.
Wait. It might just have. This is an ET ad from 2002.
It's a peanut butter cup. It's not pieces.
I know. That's just them trying to fucking tack on some other shit, you know?
ET's back, and you can see him for free. When you buy Reese's candy, you get a free movie.
Oh, fuck you! You were supposed to say Reese's Pieces. Okay.
What?
Okay, wait. Reese's commercials. See, they're like trying. Okay, 1979 Reese's Pieces. They got to say it back in 79. Back in 79, the shit didn't have ET yet.
Reese's Pieces. They look familiar, but inside this candy shell...
Captain Crunch, bitch. You hear him? It's Captain Crunch.
They look familiar,
it's Captain Crunch cereal!
Listen to him.
Reese's Pieces. They look familiar, but inside this candy shell is Reese's peanut butter flavor. Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
There he is. There's Captain
Yeah!
Crunch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I mean, we got ET going. We got Captain Crunch backing it up. Gonna say,
Apple
Santa,
jackoffs. I love them.
we got Howard Stern. We got Howard Stern, Captain Crunch, and the commercial.
And PCP, Jason.
TCB.
Captain Crunch. All right, that's enough.
We got the pilot.
You're surprised when you realize, well, Reese's peanut butter flavors inside.
Reese's Pieces. Wow. So
Look,
good.
it's spelled PIECES,
I know.
not CEES. Santa, look,
know.
man.
Santa's
Look.
trying to. I think he's gonna start trying to claim some regional stuff, and I'm gonna say no, definitely not.
Look, he's a Reagan guy. Stick to your Jelly Bellies, all right? Don't fuck with my candy, all right? I fucking love Reese's Pieces. Don't start.
KG.
Like,
KG says Reese's Pizzas.
oh my god, I know I want a Reese's Pizzas. My physician
oh.
doesn't want me to want it, but
The farm boy is even in saying, "I'm in the Northeast, neighbor to Santa. I say it the same as Jason."
so you say it wrong. Like, so what? Like,
No,
it's
no, but-
called the ad. It clearly says what it is. Like, it's not hard.
It's true. The ad. I mean, the ad is.
Lucas calls them Gungans. You want me to get that fucking clip? Like,
To be fair, it was Gungans, and then he just changed it and then stopped. He just forgot he changed it again.
yeah.
Star Wars, the other folks in the area have messaged me to say that they say it the same. It's a regional thing. Then it's time for you to step up and change the region. The region's wrong. It's time to take down those Civil War statues and start saying Reese's Pieces. But anyways, Santa.
It's like how some conservatives call Social Security an entitlement. That's not accurate, but that's what they call it. So fucking what? Like
Hey,
oh, I'm sorry. It's not the same thing.
I'm just saying we don't need old people. Did you see that one thing from Yale? That person in Yale's like, well, the only way to fix Japan's problem is to start killing the elderly. They could do suicide. Like, it's like dead serious. Like, no heart at all. Just straight up like go in there. Like,
They've been going that
"Whoa."
route since COVID, like outright, you know?
Mhm.
Like, so.
But I'm not going to put that on Star Wars Santa. To be clear, I'm not.
He's like, I was
But-
just bringing up candy.
He's like, I'm just trying to say candy wrong, bro. Come on, man. He's like, I just want to watch.
they're not
you guys
egos, they're egos, right? Like,
let go my ego.
like, Lego my ego. Like, I don't like. Come on, man. It's funny. Like,
There used to be there was so Santa was officially the kid who would call a hamburger a hamburger, and he's also the kid that would call a lightsaber a lifesaver. I've decided
100%. He said life. 100%. He was the lifesaver
He
kid.
was a lifesaver kid.
Was that a
We've
thing for
decided.
you as a true? Because in the 80s, that was a thing.
I do sort of feel like some people, like maybe just like kids, like at school that didn't really know Star Wars, would say that and things like that.
I was in
definitely still been a thing.
I was in a Lucasfilm licensing meeting once, and I had this sales rep called Darth Vader Dark Vader, and I'm like, don't, no, stop, like don't, like I had to like cut her, stop talking.
He's like, I'm actually referring to the Dutch pronunciation.
It's the French version, because I remember when
French.
Lego did that. Lego printed that on their boxes, and it was like, "Oh my god, Lego's made a huge mistake. How do you get it?" And it's like, if on the other side it says Darth Vader.
The
Although
British
Lego
always
has-
taking shots at the French, Jason. Look at that. Like,
Although Lego did mess up big time with the gunship. The first run had the Imperial logo instead of the Republic logo on the instruction booklets, and it was also like it said something. It was like the Imperial LA-80 or something like that. And I'm like, you have all. I know from the game stuff how ridiculous the approval process is to make sure nothing slips, and then a ship product has like something as major as like that wrong with it. Whereas like DICE will get huge wrist slap for like the tiniest thing that you can't even see in game or something like that.
A couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, Rob was like, when you go to publish like a game, you got to make sure that you're publishing like the latest build that's like approved. Yeah. Like it sounds like that kind of thing, where somebody like got this line of PDFs probably as it's evolving, and they probably sent the wrong one to the that wasn't approved, and then
Yeah, it was like the first month. Any bought in the first month, the first lot had it. So, and then that bumped up the value because collectors are like that. Oh yeah, speaking of game stuff,
if I didn't speak on you, we love you.
I think last time I came on, I said there was that Lego Star Wars DLC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been told through someone on Discord it got cancelled after just a few months. It's now a Lego Harry Potter game. WB are like,
I was gonna ask you if there was any more follow-ups to that.
So
yeah,
I obviously I don't know. This is just complete rumor. Like,
yeah.
The source it's coming from seems to be pretty good. Like, it's just someone I know who knows someone, and then they have someone inside. But it seems like whatever's going on at TT is really bad. They had that Disney game, but then it was like Disney Starlight, which is a recent game, came out and sort of did what everything that game was going to do, just in a Lego form. And it was having a major like issues when they was developing it. So there was like okay,
like it had like a crisis because of that.
Well, there was like Disney's just got this game out already. It kind of incorporates all the IP. We're going to be like out far later. We're going to like it was having tons of issues anyway, like development wise. So there was like okay, safe option, new Lego Batman because they just sell well, and more Skywalker Saga DLC because it's so successful. Like they completely got it wrong. Like they underestimated how successful the game was going to be. Warner Brothers did, that's for sure. So, but the thing is, most of the people that worked on that game have gone. They've left. They've all gone. Like the core teams, all gone. So
the conspiratorial side of me, though, as it's true, isn't that they underestimated. It's that they don't want to pay the licensing fee for Star Wars when they own Batman and they have, like Harry Potter in their lock and key.
So this goes into what it is. It's so basically now they're going. Warner Brothers want TT to mostly just focus on stuff IP they own. So it was going to do that Lego game, then the Mandalorian and other DLC because TT used to make a game every single year, right? There was always a new Disney film or something like that, new Star Wars, Marvel, whatever they could keep doing. So and only the Skywalker Saga broke that because it took so long to develop. And then after that, it was going to be like this Disney game, and then it was just going to keep going.
And I have no doubt Zaslav's, not him, but the regime is like, why are we spending money on licenses when we already have $1 billion licenses?
Especially competitors like Disney. Like it's literally.
Well, that's the problem with not doing their own in-house game development at Disney, man. Like Disney's all Disney, forget Lucasfilm, but Disney's their whole game with games has always been to license out. Anytime they develop something in-house, whether it's successful or not, they cancel it. They don't care. Like they've always.
Are the people on Twitter gonna boycott it?
Oh, the Harry Potter shit.
Well, yeah. So I'll get to something in a moment. So basically, because this Harry Potter game was so they cancelled the Disney game apparently, right? So there was like, well, start off for Lego Batman. Well, games take time. So if Skywalker Saga came out last year, it's going to take a couple of years. It's going to be like a potentially 4-year gap before a new game. Mm-hmm. So they decided to make DLC apparently for Skywalker Saga. Makes perfect sense. Big stuff. That'll do well. Well, the rumor is now Batman 4, which wasn't going to be like Batman 4, like the smaller game, is like not necessarily going to be like the main focus now. Skywalker Saga stuff's out, and Warner Brothers came to TT and was like, apparently this is obviously all apparent. We want you to make a Harry Potter game, Skywalker Saga about Harry Potter. The developers said, no, we're not doing Harry Potter. And they was like, okay, fine. And then they went and found like some people that would do it at like one of the other studios, apparently, that will do it.
Right.
A team would start working on it. So now they want like an open world Skywalker Saga level Harry Potter game. And that's so goodbye Skywalker Saga DLC. That was going to be huge, and you're going to get a Harry Potter game in several years. But yeah, from what I gather, like a lot of the people that was the root of the issues for years at TT have gone and made their own studio. And a lot of people followed them. They're making a Funko Pop game, which they was making at TT.
I heard about that before.
They've just gone to make it on their own studio, but like a lot of the people that like the main guy who like founded the TC Games. He's like the one that everyone said was like the big issue. Go on.
I can't talk
What's
about it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, I shouldn't talk about that.
Okay. But also a lot of the more younger team members that I like followed like for the development of Skywalker Saga, the ones that didn't leave the first time round, like they stayed on and through the 2 years of delays, pretty much all of them left. So yeah, it's really strange what's going on for a company that's been so successful. How successful Skywalker Saga is, third best-selling game of last year, just behind Elden Ring and Call of Duty. So I don't know, but it's really sad if that is true, that there's going to be no like big content for Skywalker Saga, because it would do so well. Like there's a gap. A lot of people would. People would have gone back, like bought the game. If they hadn't bought it now, they'd have gone like bought the game for that stuff. So I don't know.
And it's on Game Pass now, I believe. So
yeah,
it's like,
it will be for a few more months.
That would have been more if that on Game Pass with a $20 DLC would have brought more money.
I've been looking into the stats because it's done really well on Game Pass. Because I'd imagine a lot of families have got Game Pass, and that's how they play the game. But I was looking at like the completion rate, because I checked in like December when it just came on to Game Pass for like the levels, and the sequel trilogy has basically stayed the same slightly. It's like such a small drop off between 7 to 9. The biggest drop off, original trilogy by far, but that's definitely drastically improved. But the sequel trilogy is like the most played, but it's still got a big drop off. Like the people that play the Phantom Menace,
but it starts you on 7, doesn't it?
Well, you have the option of either choosing 1, 4, or 7.
Okay,
and most people have started on 1. It's like 60% have completed episode 1. This is for both PC and Xbox. Like 40% completed episode 4, and then it's like, I want to say it's like 18% episode 7. So very few, like it's definitely a lot less people are playing it. However, 17% of people completed Force Awakens, but 13% of the people completed Rise of Skywalker. So only 4% of people dropped off.
Yeah.
Whereas the worst one was before, like I recently checked, like 2 months ago, it was like almost 60% played A New Hope, but only like, I think it was like a 30% drop off for Return of the Jedi. So people were playing A New Hope and then not coming back, like playing Empire Strikes Back nor Return of the Jedi. It's definitely improved now. But surprisingly, a lot of people, the drop off for like Revenge of the Sith was like, that's the one everyone wanted to play, and people didn't go back to it. But like the sequels is where the main audience is like, they saw it all through. But yeah, it's a shame, because the game is so like, it's so incredibly popular. Like I don't know the sale count at the moment, but it sold as better in Elden Ring in certain countries. Over here,
I like the open world aspect of it more than anything.
You can just go to whatever planet you like and just do whatever you want. Like it's just a lot of the planets are really good. Like Mos Eisley, like, you can just go there, and it's not just Mos Eisley. You've got Mos Espa and the Jungle Waste. Like you've got more than just one location and one planet. So for kids, it's fantastic.
You mean Mos Vespa?
Oh,
Jedi. There's none of those.
Jedi Chris says, wait, why are people boycotting Potter? J.K. Rowling says a lot of anti-trans kind of stuff on Twitter. She kind of gets a little wild with it, and so a bunch of people won't play the game. My take, nobody has to agree with me. My take is J.K. Rowling is so fucking rich. You can boycott everything she ever does for the rest of her life, and she's never going to feel it. So you're probably actually just hurting more normal people who made the game and are working in the franchise than her. So I don't really judge anybody for doing it. And then, but also, I'm not saying how that Bespin feels this way or anything like that. But Bespin told me about a video on TikTok where this guy lays out like, you're all going to go onto Twitter, which is owned by somebody who's pretty much J.K. Rowling, to go bitch out about how you're boycotting this thing. So like, where's the
and they're gonna buy the Breath of the Wild, and the Saudi Arabia group owns a big chunk of Nintendo.
Oh,
and it just keeps getting bigger. They've upped like 2% in the last 2 days. Like it's just 1% one day and another.
So like, I'm not saying like apathy. Well, I guess it's all fuck. What do we do? But here's what you can do. You can do one of two things if you want to play again. One, you can buy it used so she doesn't see a fucking dime, right? So that's how you can do that. Or two, anytime you buy something, you can also donate an equal amount to a pro transgender support group, or so something actually helping to do good. So like anytime I have to give money to something that I morally disagree with, I then give money to something that I do to kind of offset. That's the best you can do. Because at the end of the day, man, like your money's in a bank, and chances are your bank's laundering that money through some Syria to move weapons.
Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, for real. Like you just go watch War Inc. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Lord of War. Like go watch one of those two movies. You'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody should just do what they feel is right, of course. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's what I say. And then also, it would be really great if Asatru was like extraordinarily anti-drug, so that way we could take things that Asatru says or things from the DARE program in the 80s and ask who said it, Asatru or DARE.
We should ask Santa that stuff. See if he knows.
Yeah, actually, I was a DARE officer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. KG says, if you grew up enjoying Potter, then it shouldn't be taken away from you. To each their own. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's where it's weird. It's like we're kind of like I feel like I'm lucky that like George Lucas is a San Francisco liberal when you look at him. Because like if you look at that guy, the way he looks, like with the like his like flannel and his fucking big ass Texas fucking belt buckle on and shit, like that guy, his style and his like thing is like two different things. But like I was telling somebody about that I'm watching Yellowstone, and like all of the conservatives right now are freaking out because Yellowstone, they're calling it like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because it'll do things like there's memes about it. Like one of the memes is these two cowboys, and it's like, keep the fuck off my land. And then the red states are like, yeah. And then it's like it'll have like two gay guys, and it'll be like, I don't care what those guys do in the privacy of their own home, But it kind of like it does this thing where it does that. It kind of like does.
They never saw Hell or High Water.
Well, it like eases them into it, Right. It makes me laugh though. It makes me laugh. But anyways, yeah. But I started season 3 of Yellowstone. It started to get better. But the miniseries are really good. The one with Harrison Ford. If you're a Star Wars person or a Harrison Ford person, totally worth checking out. That, anyways.
How long before they spoof it with Jellystone and give us like that? Yeah, give us that hardcore criminal Midwest Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear.
Yeah. Jellystone.
Yeah, Jellystone. I'd watch it. But well, anyways, we've already done our hour. We're about 20 over, so we did it. We had a little baby scoop today. We got some I don't know, maybe a sad scoop from Asatru at the end too. Little scoop sandwich stuff.
There will be more Jedi Survivor stuff on IGN this month. They said. They specifically said there'll be like a full big preview at the end of the month. So it's still more to come. Even though we're still a bit out because of the delay, it's pretty good. Like I think this is how to handle a delay well. Like they delay the game, but they show a lot of gameplay. They talk, like they actually have the developers, like they import, like some of the ones making the big decisions, like explain what they have improved from the first game. So it's all pretty good. Instead of keeping it quiet, it was like, here's a month of every week. There's gonna be like 2 or 3.
Don't worry, folks. You're going to get to play your Breath of the Wild Jedi game, and then 2 months later, you get to play another Breath of the Wild game. And 3 months after that, there'll be another Breath of the Wild game. And you're going to get plenty. You get 5 Breath of the Wild games this year. Don't worry.
I'm excited.
With dismemberment.
That sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, you can cut off a battle droid's dick now. That's what I heard.
Super battle droid.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It's hung like a horse. When it's up, it's out. You better cut it down. Right?
It's Friday, right? Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
Yep.
Vanessa Black or Rebecca Black Day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She grew up. She got past it. she's having a career. She got past.
Yeah, she
being
was on a
meme
podcast
and
I listened to the other week.
hot as
like,
fuck. Good work for her.
I didn't like. I don't know anything about her other than like obviously the
Friday.
song, but like
Yeah.
You liar.
She's got like.
Sure. I get you.
I think that was like the first. I think that was like the first viral like video I remember. Like in school, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was. Some would say it was the chocolate rain of its time.
See, I was a bit too young.
Highlight of my career was when Tay Day followed me.
Yeah,
right? Like I was
cool.
like, yes,
yeah,
love Tay Day. You should go look at his song on economics. He sings a song on economics. It's really good. Like it's super good. It's a good educational song.
I'm gonna say that Santa should listen to you since Chocolate Rain follows you. You're the chocolatier here. Therefore, Reese's Pieces. Get on board. Say it right. Say it right or don't say it at all, said E.T. But anyways, as a true, when more Fallen Jedi Survivor stuff hits and you're free, come back. We'll look at all of the stuff that we didn't look at today. I had the scoop, or I would have I didn't see your message, or I would have collected all that stuff and would have looked at it.
There is a lot. Don't worry. I'm probably gonna do a breakdown tomorrow, so I'll have even more I can go over. But yeah, I should be back. I feel better now. I'm still ill, but it was really weird. I was fine, and then 2 days later I got ill again. So I've been ill 3 weeks.
Yeah. Is it
Sorry to
COVID?
hear that, dude.
Is it COVID?
No,
COVID?
no, it's not. It's just a really bad cold.
Herpes?
Full blown AIDS?
Got the sores.
I've not left the house, and once again, I don't leave the house, and this happens.
So you eat a little ass, and look what happens. You get a gut infection.
Dysentery. Dysentery.
Sorry, Azachu. You're learning.
Did you just invent ass-eating acid brew? That's inappropriate, man.
What? It's in the name.
Come on.
I've never heard that before. That is a first.
What? All right.
Hopefully there was no Reese's
Agree to disagree.
Hopefully there's no Reese's Pieces in there. All right.
Reese's Pieces, right?
All right, everyone. Thank you, Acid Drew, and thank you for letting us defame your name. We'll be back on Monday, same time. And if you follow gaming stuff, definitely follow Acid Drew's channel because he's the best.
I'm doing a video a day on Survivor, and no one's watching, so please help.
Watch it.
I'll watch it.
Luke is
all the non-gaming channels are getting hundreds to millions of views, but but they don't say anything other than I'm going frame by frame, taking 10 hours to make a video, and no one cares. I mean, the people that watch care, but
stop trying.
I mean, I care.
Yeah.
Why are you trying on YouTube?
I'm trying. I'm trying because I actually enjoy finding the smallest thing that no one else has found yet. But
my son has only ever thought I was cool twice, and one was when Azatru was on, and the other time was when we had Ahmed Best. He's like, "You got Jar Jar on, and he does karate." That was what he said.
I agree. Those are the two best moments. Seriously.
I was like, "Yep, it's true." But all right, everybody, we'll see everybody on Monday, and thanks, guys.
And Meg,
and I'm gonna and Meg. My daughter likes Meg a lot. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow or Monday, unless something big happens. In which case, I'll be back, and I'll invite Rob, and he won't come because he hates you. I love you, but Rob hates you, and Azatru just thinks you're all right.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.